And it's great to be having this conversation with Eric at this moment, because, boy, if there's one thing on our minds at the moment, it's change. We often think about change as something that we may wish to direct or respond in our own time to, but the world has thrown many things upside down, and change is on the lips, I think, of every leader in every organization in every part of the world. So this is a very topical conversation.
That we need to understand the nature of change and move away from what I tend to refer to as the mechanical metaphor, and move away from this idea that change is about doing things to people or flicking a switch.
And given that a lot of organizations and leaders probably conceive of change in a more traditional sense, which I know we're kind of arguing against here, what are the sort of fundamental problems that you're seeing in most organizations arising out of this sort of way of thinking about what change is?
Objectification, dehumanization, disrespect of the human being as a person. And these are all, for me, symptoms of reductionism. What do we call that department that is supposedly responsible for people in organization? Human resources. Are you a resource? I hope not. Your knowledge and your know-how and your wisdom might be a resource. I don't want to be referred to as a resource. And as for human capital, well, I don't think we can get much more toxic than that. It's dehumanizing the individual.
Yes.
That's the one side of it, but actually it goes even further. If we look at that from the organization's perspective, by dehumanizing the individual, what are they actually doing to the potential inherent in that individual and the potential inherent in the relationships within the organization? What is not happening there that is actually costing them loads of money? If you just want to look at it from the economic perspective, which is a very limited perspective, it's important, it needs to be there, but it's only one. Myths of change. The way we tend to perceive change in the world these days is, I'll refer back to what I call the mechanical metaphor. An organization is a machine to be tweaked and adjusted according to our needs. And most of the literature that we read around change actually misses the point. Some of it, I will say, absolutely intentionally. Some of it, I say, is purely misguided. Now, obviously here, you know, we don't have time to go into all of these, so I'll just look at one or two. One of the primary myths about change is that it can be managed. Well, if change is ubiquitous, how can we manage what is the essence of life? It's an oxymoron. Now, we manage processes, projects need to be managed. Whether people need to be managed is maybe an open issue. And I think we can talk about that till the cows come home. But people's work certainly needs to be managed. And that's a different question again. But change can't be managed. I mean, you know, a couple of simple examples. Migrating an IT system from system A to system B. That needs to be managed. It's a project. You're changing the IT system, but you're not managing change. You're managing the change of the IT system. That's a totally different thing. Changing processes to make them more efficient, undoubtedly advantageous if they are technical processes. Yes, what are you managing there? You're managing the change of process X to process Y. You're not managing change. Another very popular myth that caused a number of people I know present here might have seen the conversations in LinkedIn around the myth of people resisting change. I mean, we can't resist what's natural. We might deny it's going on. What people tend to resist is push. They tend to resist force. They tend to resist manipulation. And here we come to the sort of dehumanization of the human being in organizations, where organizations try to manipulate others. People resist that. I mean, who wouldn't? I think it's perfectly natural to resist that. They might not like a decision that the organization has made to change processes, to change ways of working, location-based processes, etc. They might not like changes that are going on naturally. Corporate acquisitions. Corporation A swallows company B. It happens all the time. They might not like it, but there's nothing to resist there. They might not like the way it's going on. They might resist if they feel they're being manipulated as a result of that. But it's not change that they're resisting.